So all of the information for this project is currently right here in the sketchbook cover design project assignment. I will probably end up moving the assignment to different days so it's easy for you to find, but all of the information is written here, and then it has an entire slideshow for you, and it has 2 videos. So there's lots of information for you, so I do not expect you to remember it. Is everybody following?
Yes.
Perfect. Now, as soon as this enters full screen, here are some examples of some student, actually this is Miss Jones's here, but student work behind. This project itself is worth 30 summative points. So it's worth a lot of points and they're summative. Here are their learning targets is I can complete a sketchbook cover, front and back, that represents who I am using what I've learned in art class, in the class so far. Here are some student examples. I love how this one has like dog paws. Notice that, again, I don't care if it's vertical or if it's horizontal. You just downloaded the sketchbook cover design turn-in. Does everyone, this looks familiar, right?
Yes.
You will notice it asks for a couple of extra things on here. This has a lot more than just a sketchbook turn-in. So the first thing it says is to insert your sketch plan picture here. Today, we're going to start our plan. And that is a new page in our sketchbook. And I will teach you that in a second. But when it's finished, that gets turned in here. Also notice it wants a picture of your symbols that you are working on or are almost done with. You will also turn that in here, but you also turn it in on here. So if you're like, I already turned it in, you just need it in both places. Same picture, right? So super simple in both places. Okay. So there's that. Actually, this one looks a little different. Interesting. I might have to re-upload. No, this is fine. So there are some questions here, and then this is where you'll put your finished work of art. And down here, all this jargon is how you're graded. So that's like a grading scale for me. Does this make sense to everybody of when you finish this project?
Yes.
Okay. What is the cover plan? Okay, this is what's really important is artists plan out their work. They try to figure out what they want to do before they actually get it onto the final like canvas or whatever it is they're using. Your folder is your canvas. This is on the outside, remember front and back. You always want to start in a pencil. So your plan is going to either be, you have 2 choices. You can do what is called a symmetrical name design or falling name. And I'm going to show you both ways and you can choose. These 2 here are the symmetrical name design. And the fun thing about these is that you basically try to hide your name in some sort of a creature. So her name is Serena, which you can see it here, but
I can't see it.
Oh, you guys, I'm sorry. Here we go. This is Serena's. You can see how this is her plan, and this is her start of her final. Notice when she colored her crazy creature that her name kind of disappeared, so you kind of have to search for it. This student's name is John, and you have to search for it. It's how he turned it into a crazy creature. So if you do the symmetrical name design option, because you've got 2 choices, you're going to turn your name into some crazy creature animal thing, give it crazy features and a crazy background. This one's in a city. Serena ended up putting hers in the mountains. So you'll have lots of choices for the symmetrical name design. Okay, and there's instructions on how to do that. Your other option is called falling name. And this one's really fun where you start to write your name and repeat it. Some people do like their first name, middle name, last name, family names, and they repeat it as it gets small or gets larger as it falls down the page. You've got lots of options I'll show you here. Here's a falling name one. Okay, so this student, her name is actually Social, and it's right here. And she wrote all things about her and her family that represent her. Does she have typography? Yes. Does she have her name?
Yeah.
Yes. Notice she has her Converse shoe here. Could that fall into hobbies? Absolutely. Could it fall into symbols? Absolutely. Pattern and repetition. Does she have pattern?
Yeah.
Yes. Does she have lots of typography?
Yeah.
Yes. And does she have her symbols? She does. She's got puzzle pieces, She's got stuff hidden in here. A lot of times it's hard to tell what student symbols were. She also has stars in here, but she has all of the Give Me 5 in full color. This is her folder. So this is an example of a falling name one. Okay.
Quick question.
Yes.
How come we can't just like free draw and draw like what we wanted?
Because, well, you can. Like, there's a ton of stuff. Like, the whole point of this is you can draw whatever hobbies you want, or whatever patterns you want, or whatever words or symbols.
But I can't do it because we have to make it either a falling name drawing or your name hidden.
Correct, because there are certain standards and expectations you have to hit. And that's like my job as a teacher, is to make sure you understand those. And so for me, I try to have lessons that are as open-ended as possible, so you can draw the things you want to draw, and we're not all drawing the same thing. You all have the same expectations, but not the same thing.
So we can draw whatever we want in any form. It just has to include our names, our hobbies,
yep. Yeah, you're going to start to see that as it comes, as I show you more. So here's where we talk about your choice. This one was from my first trimester this year. I love it. So this is hilarious. You can't even really, it's like he did the falling name and the symmetrical at the same time. So when I say symmetrical, do you know what that means?
No.
Same on both sides. Okay, this is a symmetrical name design. This was just the name part. You can't even see the name anymore, which is awesome. Okay, you could do like your name really large and just do 1 point perspective. This is like it's falling. Or you could fill something in like that's falling. So you've got lots of choices. Like, that's one thing that's really cool about this, is everybody's is going to be different, even if you choose the same style. Notice, this is not done. Notice these three are complete. They fill up both sides of their folders. Their craftsmanship is beautiful. Their neatness. Like, look at Ruby's name and the way she wrote it. It's phenomenal. She's got her pattern. Notice how this student, it looks like, I don't know if this is Zeus or whoever the god is that he has. He's got fire. He has pattern. Oh, it's just beautiful. Different techniques. So I have slides in here, we already know, that are going to show you exactly how to do whatever technique you want. So if you want the symmetrical name design, if you're like, oh, I totally want to do something that's crazy symmetrical, then you want to look at those slides. This is a student of mine from a couple years ago. Does anyone know what her name is? A-P. Her name's April. Okay, so she turned her name into this crazy leprechaun guy. She has her symbols, like she loves clovers, she loves rainbows, she has pattern in the background. She has she doesn't have hobbies because I change it up every year, but she's got everything she needs, full color, phenomenal. Is it the same on both sides?
Yeah.
Yes. Is it okay that there's only a pot of gold on one side? Yes. But she chose the symmetrical choice. There is a video on how to do this, like literally a step-by-step video, and I also have photos in here. You will need to take your paper out of your sketchbook if you're going to do this one for your plan, because you have to fold it in half. Now, what is this person's name?
Shelly.
Shelly. Do you have to write your name in cursive like Shelly?
No.
No, you do not. But what is the first thing you have to do? You're going to fold your paper in half, okay? You have to use a pencil, and the reason you have to use a pencil is this is going to teach you how to transfer your own work to the other side, so it's the exact same, and pencil has graphite, which will transfer when you rub it. Notice how big Shelly's name is. Did she use most of this chunk of the half of the paper?
Yeah.
Yes, she went from the middle line to the top. So you want to fill this as much as you can. Okay, so there's Shelly. Notice the next step. It tells you how to do this. She traced it a couple of times, so it's really dark. What did she use again to write with? Pencil. Notice how Shelly folds down the paper. And she's got it right here. Now, can you see what's in this guy's hand?
Like a pen.
A marker, a pen. He's not using it as a coloring tool. Okay, he's leaving it capped. He's using it as a tool to rub over the name. Now, you don't go like ferociously and like like you literally try to kind of trace over the name from the back with the marker lid because the pressure pushes it through to the other side. So now, is it going to be perfect? No. Is it going to be enough you can see it?
Yeah.
Yes. So then you can take your pencil and trace over it. So then they've got this crazy thing and they're like, okay, what is this going to be? This is the fun part where you get to add whatever embellishments you want to turn this into whatever crazy creature you want. You could turn it upside down. Maybe the Y is at the top. Shelly's starting to add eyes, eyelashes, hands, feet, nostrils, lips. Whatever you do to the one side, you transfer to the other using the same method. Does that make sense to everybody?
Yes.
And there again, there's a video. But look at, boom, now it's the same. Then you can outline it with Sharpie. So now you have this crazy creature. You can't even really see Shelly's name in there anymore, which is really fun. And now you can start adding all of those give me 5 things we're looking for. This video here will show you. Miss Jones and I both have one in here. It'll show you how to do it. Okay? Because remember, this is a lot of information. Some of you like pictures better. Some of you like videos better. Whatever works better for you, this will show you how to do it. Okay? So look at that. So Jessica on both sides. I'm not sure. I don't remember what she turns hers into. So that is your symmetrical name design, like how you can create that. Your falling name is very different. Again, this can be done in multiple ways. Are any of these 3 the same? No. All 3 are very different. That's the whole goal. You start at the top and you work your way down. So Alice, what is one of her hobbies? Do you know? Music and ballet. So she's got her ballerina feet, and then she literally has her last name, family, and then her full big name. She's got like speech bubbles about things about her. She has pattern of rainbow in the background. Her symbols, like beautifully done. This is socials again. So that's how you would start this, is by choosing, look at the panda. Her name is Addison. No, Madison. Sorry, Madison. This one's Madison. And she decided just to repeat her name. She's got patterns going. She's got like spools for thread. She has her panda. She's starting to get all the things she wants. Now, this will show you how to transfer it to your folder. You are going to start today with a plan. Okay? You can also write your name in perspective, like I said. So if you want to open your large name in just perspective and then fill the background with patterns and your hobbies and your symbols, you can do that, just like Ruby's that I showed you at the beginning. Do you remember that?
Yeah, Ruby's is good.
Ruby's is really good. So that's another option. So there's lots of choices for you to do. What you're going to do now, though, is a plan. Now, a plan is not a finished work of art. I want everyone to understand that. I'm not asking you to create 2 big final works of art, because that's a waste of time. Why would we plan? What is the point of making a plan in our sketchbook?
So you have a good idea of what you're going to do.
So you have a good idea? So you can make sure you have all of the requirements? What if you start drawing something and you're like, ooh, I'm not very good at this. I need to look up an idea, or I need to look up how to do this. Are those options for you?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Now, a couple of things I need you to remember. If you are going to transfer your plan, so can you see how this plan is from the Zeus one I showed you?
Yeah.
So if you're going to transfer it to your folder, you cannot color your plan. It has to stay in pencil. Because on slide 20, there we go. On slide 19, this video shows you how you can get what your plan is to your folder. Now, your paper is a little smaller, so you're going to have to elaborate on your folder, if that makes sense, but it will help you get your main idea onto your folder. So Ms. Jones shows us how to do that. Basically, it's the same way, and how to add it to your folder. Okay, so you can transfer it. It won't be perfect. I also have tracing boxes in the room that I can have Ms. Jones help set up. so you can trace onto your folder if your plan is a rockstar plan and you're like, oh, I can't redraw this. Does this make sense to everybody? Yes? Okay, so our job right now is you have some choices. What's one choice you could make for this project?
You could do a falling name thing.
You could do your falling name. What's another choice you could do?
Perspective.
Perspective. And then I heard somebody else started with an S. What's another one?
Symmetrical.
Symmetrical. Could you combine them all?
Yeah.
Yes. But what are some requirements that everybody should have? Patterns, color. I mean, going back to
Neatness and craftsmanship.
Oh my gosh, the neatness and the craftsmanship are huge because this is like a big, like final project kind of thing. Okay, like our sketches are awesome and they're like final drawings, but these are like, this is like a big project. Like if we had normal art class, not COVID art class, we would have a lot more bigger projects. Does that make sense? So your job, there's also like ways to transfer in here. It'll show you lots of different ways. To get your paper out of your sketchbook, there are 3 little tabs. You have to open those up to get the paper out. But there should also be extra paper up front if that's easier. So if you need to get your paper out. Is this making sense?
Here's a quick question.
Yes.
This is kind of what I was saying earlier because I think you misinterpreted it. What I was saying is, do we have to do it like the falling name, or do we have to do the things like the ways you should with like the falling name or the hidden falling name? Do you have to do those, or can you just do whatever you want as long as you get the requirements?
No, you have to choose one of the falling name, the perspective, or the symmetrical. So those 3 choices, but you can write your name however you want in those ways, if that makes sense. Or you could even do it really small up, like, if you're like, oh, I'm going to do my name really small up here, and then I'm going to add all these other stuff down here. That's totally fine. Like, I'm pretty flexible because I want you to enjoy what you're creating. And I want you to be proud of what you're working on. But I also have to give you like parameters and guidelines, if that makes sense.
I wonder why you have to give parameters and guidelines for like art.
Because it's a requirement, honey. This is not just like a waste of time class. This has like standards and expectations.
Thank you.
Is everybody good?